Welcome to Sweden, the home of Volvo cars. I'm Britta and I'm here together with some special guests to introduce you to the full Volvo EX30 Cross Country experience in this off-grid cabin just south of the Arctic Circle. Katarina and Akil from Volvo Cars, you designed the EX30 and you're the brains behind this car. And Martin, you're the CEO of Swedish Fjällräven, the outdoor brand. I know everyone's excited to hear about the car, but first I have to ask, how was your trip?
It was incredible. We went up to the Swedish mountains, just a few hours from here, for a snowshoe hike, and we even stayed overnight. I gotta say, it got a little bit chilly eventually during the night, but the views absolutely made it worth it. Minus 30. Oh, it was really cold, but no, it was amazing, and the drive was incredible, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, what a beautiful drive. Just these endless vistas with the sun coming up from behind the mountains. I mean, it's just such a gift to be out here in northern Sweden, out in nature. It's incredible.
It was amazing.
But minus 30 is kind of hardcore for a tent. But Martin, you do love a tent. But would you mind telling us a bit about this cabin? Why are we here?
Sure. I think this cabin truly represents the typical way of living up here. This hut has a nice, cozy place around the fireplace, small bedroom. But in the end of the day, it's a typical place located next to the frozen lake. You have nature just outside the corner. Very nice place to start up this kind of event.
But you actually feel closer to nature when you're in a tent?
To be honest, I prefer to sleep in a tent without any or insulation, because then I get closer to nature, I hear everything.
You get too warm then, maybe?
Maybe too warm as well, yeah.
But if you're not like Martin and you do prefer a cabin, how about staying here? Volvo Cars have made it possible for you to have a curated Volvo cross-country experience in this very cabin. More on that at the end of our show. Now, the cabin has everything you need and nothing you don't. And same thing goes for the EX30 Cross Country, right, Akil?
Yeah, that's true, because it's the small car for big experiences.
And Katarina, you're the lead designer on Volvo EX30, launched recently as Volvo's small electric SUV. And this is the cross-country version, so what does that mean?
Yeah, for that we actually have to go a bit back in time, almost 30 years, when Volvo first launched the V70 XC. XC standing for cross country. This is a wagon raised off, given a bit more of a junkier, rugged design that can cope easier with rougher terrain. Now, and since then, this has become a really popular type of car for people who want to have a little bit extra capability in their lives.
Yeah, popular. I hear you're on your fourth cross-country car at the moment.
Cross-country, absolutely.
Cross-country forever. And why was Volvo Cars, why have you been so influential in making these kinds of cross-country type cars?
Well, I suppose this is why. Because being a Swedish company, we have an unparalleled understanding of nature, like the challenges a cold winter can present. Full disclosure, I moved to Sweden 12 years ago. And I kind of caught this Scandinavian bug, the love for the outdoors and wanting to immerse yourself in nature, even if it's crazy low temperatures outside. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you immerse yourself in nature on a mountain bike also.
That's correct. I love mountain biking, so I'm all about exploring Swedish forests and finding new trails. But I also like a new experience once in a while. Like the snowshoe hiking that we just did. I've never done that before. And it was magical. It's just one of those beautiful things that you can do in Scandinavia. And this is the essence of cross-country for us. It's more than just rugged bits added to a car for looks. It's about all of the experiences the car can empower people to have.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, I'm actually from this part of Sweden. I grew up cross-country skiing and snowboarding basically around the corner. Did you know that we use the ski slopes in summer as mountain bike trails?
Yeah, I've actually been to some of the ski resorts in Sweden, which turn into bike parks in the summer. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it is crazy. So Volvo gets you to the end of the road where the trails begin, whether it's mountain biking, hiking, or just walking out in the woods. Now, Martin, your entire brand is based on this appetite for getting outdoors. What's your passion?
My passion is cross-country. Which is a way of skiing in the Nordics, but also all kind of outdoor activities. So I enjoy winter as much as summer. I do any kind of activity that has taken me out in nature. And it's easy accessible in this part of the world.
But you have this mission at Fjällräven to inspire more people to, do you say walk with nature?
Yeah, it has a specific definition. Walk with nature means that you walk in nature with respect and responsibility. And as we have said already, Volvo brings you to the end of the road. Fjällräven is taking over when the trail begins, which means a lot of responsibility. And it's easy in a way, because we can relate to one basic rule, which is called allemansrätten in Sweden, which gives you the right to roam if you don't destroy and if you don't disturb. Very easy to follow, and it's a fantastic opportunity we have here.
Yeah, it's such a luxury we have. You should actually look it up, everyone watching. Allemansrätten is called. But if I want to explore the wilderness, why not just get a super rugged off-roader, Katarina?
Of course you can do that if conquering nature and exploring the limit of where you want to go is what you want to do. But this is really not what we're about with the cross country. We're about helping you to access nature on nature terms. We really want to democratize the outdoors rather than conquering it, right? Also, not everyone wants to or can climb the highest mountain. So it's really about the things everyone can do.
Yeah, it's as you say, like walking with nature. It almost goes. That's true for the car, right? And you're also about democratizing the outdoors, making it more accessible.
It's very important to include and inspire as many as possible. So we try to give educational information in order to make it easier, but also develop products that fits for all kind of adventures. And at this moment, we see a very clear trend globally that people tend to go away from cities and actually find and explore nature on distance. So that's a typical trend.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I really want to see more of the car. Let's have a look at another adventure.
Better hurry up. So it was pitch black, middle of the night. Where are we going? We saw this tree, but it wasn't just any tree. It was the tallest tree ever. Pine cones like I think I found one. I got a stick for you. And then we walked and walked and kept on walking until Mom couldn't walk anymore.
Do you want me to carry you?
Yeah. Almost ate some no good berries. Then we saw a cow. Well, Mom did.
That's quite an adventure, buddy.
Yeah, it kind of was. What do you want to do now?
Well, I have to say it looks really good. And I'm allowed to say it because I didn't work on it. But great job, guys. Katarina, when you design a car like this, where do you start?
So when we start designing a car, we always start with people. We look at how people live, what they need, what they love doing, because we want to create something that's truly meaningful to their lives. And for this version, we look at how people want to explore the outdoors. What type of gear do they want? What type of storage solutions do they need? And infuse those learnings back into the car. So also, like Martin said, there's more and more people who really feel that urge of escaping the city and going out in the nature, like myself sometimes.
Yeah, I heard you embraced quite a lot of nature during your Christmas holiday.
Yeah, and
about that.
It's probably a really good example if you don't go with the right gear. So I went up to Norway, Jotunheim, and during Christmas, and ended up actually in a ditch twice. And it's not funny if you don't have the right equipment in minus 20 degrees, I gotta tell you. But yeah, I wish I would have had that car.
Yeah, it wasn't this car, to be
No,
clear.
it wasn't this car.
So basically you designed this car for your own needs?
Maybe partially.
Yeah?
No, but we base it obviously on real people and real experiences.
Yeah, real people, real experience.
Yeah.
I love that. And design-wise?
So for this car, we started with the EX30, which is our recently launched SUV, which has been already a really big success, and it's just perfect for the city. But for the cross-country version, we started adding some extra elements that really help to protect the car, make exploring easier, but most importantly, make your journey more fun.
And I love fun.
Yeah.
What are some key design features here?
So when we start designing, we start with some design signifiers, as we call it, that really makes a Volvo looking like a Volvo. For example, the exterior is designed to look solid and safe just by looking at it. And this comes by the way we are shaping our volumes. Now in the front, you can see a very iconic signature, which we call the Thorshammer headlamp. And we also have a very distinct rear signature because we want you to recognize a Volvo, whether it's day or night. Then for this version, we started raising it high off the ground, right, Akhil?
Yeah, that's true. And that's not just for design, because we want to give you a little bit of extra ability. So the raised chassis and those all-terrain tires, those are there just to make sure that you can go wherever you need to go.
Yeah, and that really helps so much. And then we added extra wheel extensions, special bumper inserts in the front and the rear. This gives this car this really cool, rugged look, but obviously also helps for protection.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So this is what you're talking about, the dark gray details.
Exactly.
But did I see like some kind of pattern? There's some like out of the box design feature.
Yes, you can see that the front and the rear shield now comes in a matte black contrast, which again gives the car more protection, but gives it this really cool, rugged design and makes your cross country super distinct.
Yeah, and was it a pattern like in the front?
Yes, this is actually a very unique graphic, which is the topography of Kebnekaise, Sweden's highest mountain range, just a few hours of here.
And you've been to the top of Kebnekaise?
Yeah, I ended up in a snowstorm during a Swedish summer, I gotta say, but doesn't matter, it was magical. We came back to the camp, midnight sun, and it's a truly inspiring place. And if you look even closer in the front shield, you can see that we even engraved the coordinates in it because we wanted to connect this car to a place that is so inspiring to many of my colleagues at Volvo Cars.
Yeah, I feel like I have to say that we do have summers in Sweden. It's just because the mountain is very high.
I experienced and they're very, very beautiful. Yes.
Then what about the inside of the car? Sometimes you need a lot of gear when you're out on an adventure, and this is a small SUV. So where do I put my stuff?
And this is where the car gets really smart, I have to say. So the interior is designed to be super multifunctional with a lot of clever storage solutions all around the car. So we really want to make the most out of every inch. Take the doors, for example. The storage of it is massive. And how did we do that? Because we took traditional speakers out of the doors and moved them into a sleek soundbar across the dashboard. That frees up tons of space into pockets where you can put now gloves, maps, or I probably would just fill it with snacks, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Yeah, I just want to bring along coffee when I go on one of these trips.
Yeah, we have actually an even better place for that. So if you look at the storage space between the driver and the passenger, there's a multiple storage compartment underneath the armrest where you have sliding cup holders, which adjust to your needs, just as you like.
Yeah, and did I see a picture where there was like a bag underneath the cup holder?
Yeah, that's super clever. And underneath, there's actually a hidden compartment where you can keep small little precious things safe.
Yeah.
And on top of it, you have finally a place for your bag or a raincoat or whatever you need on your next adventure.
Yeah, but if I could put my handbag there, that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
I promise.
Yeah, and in the secret compartment, I will put the candy I don't want my kids to find.
But talking about kids, they can get quite messy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we actually have a super smart solution for that. We have a removable storage compartment behind the armrest, which you can fill with wrappers or another candy box or whatever. You can take it out, put it in a dishwasher, and bring it back into the car.
Oh,
Super
I love anything I can put in my dishwasher. It's just wow. So there's a lot of storage around the driver and the passenger. What about trunk space?
So you find a lot of trunk space for things like your bag or your big luggage or a lot of gear. And if you're ever unsure how much tents or backpacks you can bring, there is a super handy size guide for you where you can always check if it will fit.
That's really helpful. Now, Martin, what would you pack for your adventures?
Yeah, first of all, driving in this part of the world in very harsh conditions, summer and winter, obviously, you need to be prepared. So regardless if it is packing for an adventure or just driving here, I would always bring a few things that is keeping you safe and warm and comfortable. So among others, I always bring a shovel, which gives you not only safety but also comfort. You can create your own sofa wherever you want to.
The snow.
In the snow, exactly. And always reinforcement garments so you can dress up, because sometimes it might take not only 10 minutes or 15 minutes to anyone is showing up helping you. It could take hours.
Yeah, especially up here.
Up
Yeah,
here, absolutely.
And when you're stuck like me in Norway, it's not funny if you don't have those
not.
things
No.
with you.
No,
That's
it's
when
not
it
fun,
starts
and
to
it could
get-
be dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of experience and nature, Katarina, the design team actually brought a bit of Swedish nature into the car. And I'm not talking about the mud that my dogs tend to bring into my car.
We only bring the good parts of nature in
Yeah.
the car, obviously, and this is something where we get really inspired of. And for example, we have 5 different ambient light and sound themes in the car, which are inspired by different places all over Sweden throughout different times of the year. And my favorite one, not just only because we're up north here, is definitely the Northern Lights, because it's truly magical. And I hope we get to see them tonight, and if we don't, we can get a glimpse of it in the car.
Yeah, it's actually really beautiful. I think it's everyone's favorite,
Yeah.
but we're hoping to see them tonight. But unless if we don't, we can squeeze into the car. Yeah, everyone have a little Aurora party.
Yeah.
Let's get a bit further under the skin of the car now. Akhil, you're the program lead for the EX30, among other cars at Volvo. And we talked about the design and accessing nature, but do we have the range to access nature?
That's a really good question. And like Katarina mentioned, this car is about blending urban city life with the ability to access nature. And that starts by being fully electric, which means it's got a smooth, nimble, and quiet driving experience when you're in the city with 0 tailpipe emissions.
Don't disturb or destroy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can go up to 427 kilometers on a full charge. But if you've got just 10 minutes of charging with a fast charger, you can add up to 120 kilometers to your car. Which means, even out here, there's no limit to how far you can explore.
But if it's only 10 minutes, I won't have time to grab a coffee on my way to the trail.
It's perfect, isn't it? And when you're on your way to the wilderness, you want to have a feeling like the car's looking after you, like when you were on your trip to Jotunheimen. So that's why on the cross country, we've got the raised chassis, a variety of tire options, but we also have the all-wheel drive, just to give you that extra bit of ability to make you feel safe and comfortable. And regarding tires, we have the option of the all-terrain tire, which is more suited for warmer climate. But out here in the icy conditions, we always have winter tires on, which is either with or without studs.
Yeah, icy conditions or not, the reason I drive a Volvo is because of the safety. Volvo is well known for being a leader in safety, and I think that's like really important, especially to a lot of families. Now, how did you bring that safety into the EX30, and does it translate to the cross country?
Yeah, and safety always comes first for us at Volvo. Recently, the EX30 was rated 5 stars by Euro NCAP, which is Europe's safety testing organization. And that's sort of recognition for the tremendous effort that our teams put into making our cars as safe as you'd expect from us. But our work with safety goes beyond the stars. So we're all about designing our cars to be safe in as many real-life situations as possible to help protect lives.
So are you saying you set your standards even higher than the tests?
That's correct. We set our safety standards above and beyond what is required by the standard testing. And that's true for all of our cars. The EX30 is designed to fulfill that Volvo safety standard. So we've packed it with protective safety features that are helping you to avoid a collision in the first place.
So are you saying it can prevent scary situations for me?
Yeah, to give you an example, imagine you're driving in the city and you park on the side of the street and you're about to get out. The car will warn you in case you're going to open your door and there's a cyclist approaching from the rear.
Maybe a mountain biker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to know that the car looks after me with tech designed to keep me safe. But there's also tech that's there, like I will use in my everyday life to make my life easier, right?
There is, but we don't want to have tech just for tech's sake. So we aim to make interacting with the car safe, convenient, and enjoyable for everyone, from little kids to adults to anyone who's using the car. One good example is Google Maps. With that, the whole world is at your fingertips. Finding any remote location is easy, and if you want to find a charging station along the way, it's probably easier.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's a system that I'm already familiar with.
Yeah, you've used Google on your phones and so forth.
I don't
and now
need to
it's in
learn
your
anything
car.
new.
Yeah.
That's always good.
And finally, if you're like me, there's nothing worse than getting into an icy cold car in the winter or a car that's been boiling hot because it's been standing for hours in the summer sun. So with the mobile app, you can precondition your car. So you can get it to be toasty warm or just like nice and cool, just the way you like it, even before you open your door.
Yeah, I use that so much. I do love a Swedish sauna, but I don't want my car to be that sauna in the summer. And you actually, we talked about that earlier, like having the car that doesn't have any frost on the windshield in the parking lot.
That makes a lot of sense, and many cars have that function. But in this case, I would say, based on my experience, it works.
Yeah.
It is really something that clears your window. It is heating up your wheel and your seat, and you feel very comfortable.
Yeah, the
from
steering
the first
wheel.
moment.
Actually, the steering wheel heater, I use that. I just
Super.
love it. Yeah. Now, if people watching this feel like they want to come to a trip up here, what do they need? The EX30 Cross Country is obviously
Check.
this little guy,
Check.
first thing on the list.
For sure.
But what else, Martin?
Yeah, a good roof box as well, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would
the
say
kids.
it is, from my standpoint, you should have some kind of safety backup. So if I talk from my personal experience, I always bring a bag with some stuff. So if you don't mind, I could show you.
You brought it.
Yeah, okay. So,
He's not kidding. He really brought it.
one thing is a thermos
Yeah.
with water, so you keep it not necessarily warm, but at least not frozen. That's important if you get stuck. Then, of course, an extra insulation, a sweater, preferably in wool. Shovel, I spoke about that already.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In my case, but we
Don't
bring it.
rub it in.
No, okay. And then I never travel without a pair of really good
Yeah,
gloves.
because you need them when you're working the shovel.
100%.
Yeah.
And whatever you do outside of the car,
Yeah.
fingers are essential.
Yeah.
So that's just a couple of examples.
Yeah, it's really good examples. I grew up like you never went anywhere without a thermal pants even, because just in case you get stuck. Yeah, you brought them too. So that's what I pack for me. But what about gear for the car, for the exterior, for example?
Yeah, like Martin said, if we've got all of our gear, the car needs to have its gear too, yeah? So that's why what we've done is we curated this dedicated package of accessories that you can get with your cross country. So you can buy them when you're configuring your car online. And that includes things like mud flaps, load carriers, the all-terrain tires that I mentioned earlier, or you can get that cool roof basket that we saw on the car outside.
I really like that one. It looks so cool. That's fantastic. So actually, there's just one more thing to round off the experience, a cabin, or rather this cabin. If you're watching this, you could actually be staying here. Volvo Cars is opening up bookings for this cabin for the next few weeks. So if you fancy coming up to northern Sweden for some exploring time, make sure to grab this opportunity. And of course, you get a car as part of your stay. Now, I have to be clear, you don't get to keep the car. It's just to borrow it for your own adventures. To book it, the Volvo Cross Country cabin, you visit landfolk.com, or if you're watching online, you could actually scan the QR code on your screen right now. I mean, I have to ask you guys, would you want to stay in this cabin, and what kind of experience would you do you see yourself having?
Yeah, I've just seen tracks on the mountains up here, so I guess some cross-country skiing would be nice. Now that you mentioned it, Martin,
Yeah.
that'd be wonderful. Like a day out skiing, and then come back to your cozy cabin in the evening. Yeah, so that would be totally fun.
Yeah, I'd love to come back, especially doing some more ice driving across the lake.
Yeah.
Super fun.
It looked really fun. Martin,
Yeah.
what about you?
You know, the view from here
Yeah.
is absolutely astonishing. So I would probably sit here.
Yeah, not
the
here,
fire.
outside at least.
No, here.
Okay.
I don't want to freeze. Just watching the frozen lake and the scenery. That would be my take on this.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it. And thank you so much to my guests. We've had a lovely talk. It truly is beautiful up here at this time of year. And what better car to explore this amazing landscape with than the EX30 Cross Country, the small car for big experiences.
Isn't it crazy how all these other brands travel so far to northern Sweden to do their testing?
Well, we call it testing at home, I guess.